help you to do what? To perform what? An action. Good. Then we also have available what? Tools. We have some tools available, and we are saying that publisher offers many tools to help organize and arrange content in your publication. Here are some of the tools. We have the baseline. So baseline are evenly spaced horizontally, or horizontal lines that can be what? Used to line up text. So to show the baseline, you have to click on view, blah, blah, blah. So let me show you the baseline so that you get what we are doing. So now let me take off this template. I want a new template. Let's look at what the baseline. The baseline is a tool. So I have a new blank or template, and it's a what? It's in a, is this landscape or portrait? Is it landscape or portrait? I'm asking a question. Portrait. Okay.
Portrait.
Good, good. So you click on view, then you have what? A baseline. So I'm selecting what? The baseline. So as soon as you select baseline, you can see on the page, there are some lines. And we are saying that the baseline helps you to do what? Create what? It helps you to do what? Line up, or it's something like alignment. It helps you to align what? Your text. So the baseline are evenly spaced horizontally. That is used to do what? Line up what? Your text. So if you want to line up your text in a certain way, you can use what? The baseline to do that. To do that. And in doing that, you just go to where? View tab. Then you click on what? Baselines. So the lines are there. So if you insert something, it will be just within what? The line. So it is used like a demarcation for your text, so that your text will not overflow the baselines you have done what? You have created. So that's the work of what? The baseline. It's a tool we use in what? In Publisher. So don't forget. Now let me go back to the slide. We also have good. Somebody is saying that it's like an exercise book. Yes, exercise book. So when you look into an exercise book, you see the baselines. And what do you use the baseline for? For writing. So you write within what? The baseline. Okay. Then we also have boundaries. We have boundaries. And we are saying that boundaries are dark blue dashed borders that appear around what? Objects. So viewing object boundaries can be useful to align objects or view what? Text. Now, we also have another tool called what? Rulers. So the rulers or the ruler is on the left and what? Top of what? The publication to help line up what? Your text, images, and other objects. When an object is selected, a white space will appear on what? On the ruler or the rulers to show the object's what? Location. So you already know a ruler. We use the ruler to do what? Demarcate or create what? Margins, or create what? Borders, etc. So the same thing applies to Publisher. You can use the ruler to create what? A certain what? Demarcation or margin for your text and images and other objects. Okay, so the ruler we are talking about here is not different from the ruler, the physical ruler you know. This is an electronic one, okay? So Publisher has that kind of tool to work with. Then we're also saying that guides are thin lines. We also have another tool which is called the guide. And the guides are thin lines that help to align objects. And there are two types of what? Guides. Guide. So the guide is what? It guides you. It's a thin line that guides you. And we have two types. We have the margin guides, and we have for the customizable guides. Good. Customizable guides. So the margin guides are blue lines that mark the edges. That marks what? The edges. I'll show it to you for you to get what I'm talking about. That marks what? The edges or margins of what? A printable what? Area. They are what? Automatically created when page margins are set. So whenever you set your page margin, you get what? The margin guides. Then the customizable guides are green lines that can be what? Added anywhere in your publication. Anywhere in your publication. So the process for creating the guide is on the screen. So this is the process, how to add the guide. So let me show you what we are talking about before we move to another space. Okay, so I'm going to the application. So this is the baseline. You spoke about the baseline, so let me take up the baseline. So over here we have boundaries. So when you click on it and when you take it off, it's not showing properly. So over here we have the boundaries. So we are saying that for the boundaries is there. So see the ruler, we have the rulers. So when you click, it's off. There's nothing here. There's nothing to show here. When you click on it, you see the rulers. So we have the horizontal and we have what? The vertical ruler. So for example, if I want to create a text, I have to use, I can use the ruler to do my demarcation. So this is the text. I can use this ruler. So these are the rulers. So we have the top one and what? The top one is known as what? The horizontal. Then the left one is what? The vertical ruler. So use the ruler for what? Demarcation. And we are saying that the guides, you have two. We have what? The customizable one, and we have what? The margin guides. So when you look at the page, when you look at the entire page, you can see that there is a blue thin line all over here. And outside here, you can see, let me zoom it. Outside here, you can see some black thin line. This is the border. And this one is what? The margin guides. So anytime you set your margin guides, or you set your margin, you will see this margin what? Guide. It means that anything you do must fall within what? This margin. Must fall within what? The margin. So the blue thin lines over here are what? The margin. Then we talk about the customizable one. You can customize what? Your, how do you call it? The margin. So by doing that, you just click on the top over here where the ruler is. You click and drag. You click and drag. So this one, I've created my own what? Customizable what? Guide. As what? A margin. So it means that the work I'm going to do will fall within this margin. So you see that this color is different. It's green, thin line. So whatever I'm going to do will fall within this margin. Let me minimize it. So you see that the original margin is there, and I've customized what? Another margin. So it means that I want to create my work just within this what? Customizable what? Margin from here to here. So I want my work to be here. So it means that when I go and select a text, I'll work within what? This margin. I'll work within this one. Within this margin. It's over. So I have to use the margin. So you see that the margin is guiding me how to create what? My text. It's very important. for the margins is very important. So you can customize, you can use the margin itself. Good. Then let's continue. We also spoke about the baseline. We spoke about the baseline, the boundaries, the rulers. So we've seen what the boundaries is, or the boundary is. The boundaries are there. We have what the rulers. We have what the margin guides. We have what the customizable what guides. So I said that the customizable ones, you have to customize the page yourself. Okay, you have to customize the page yourself. The margin is for you. You are creating your own margin. Okay, so for example, let me show you something quickly. Let me show you something. So you see the margin I have over here. This one is the margin guide, the original margin guide. So if I change this margin, you see that it will change on the page over here. So I'm going to select a different margin. Have you seen it? It has changed. Okay, it has changed. So when you are working, you can choose the original margins, or you can set your own what, or you can customize the margin to suit the work you are doing. It's very simple. So don't forget. Good. So let's move on and see another tool we have, another thing you can do on Publisher. It's called the scratch area. So with this area, we are saying that the gray area outside the white page area is called the scratch area. It shows object or portion of what object located outside the page. So I said earlier in the presentation that there's a place where you can park what your pictures, your items. It's just like you have a compound. Okay, you have a compound where you can park what your cars. So where you park the cars, within that area, there's another place where you can park the buckets you use to wash what the bucket, the duster, the etc. You use to what you wash the car. So when you want to use the bucket, then you go and pick the bucket and come to what the car park to wash. I'll be clear. So it's the same thing applies to what the publisher. So it has what an area where you can park what your items, your objects, your pictures, etc. And you can pick them one after the other to the page and work with it. So this is different from how do you call it? Word. Word is not having such features or such tools to work with. So with this, we are saying that the scratch area will not be printed. So if you pack images at the page, it will never be printed. Okay, when you issue the command to print, it will not do what? Print. So you can think of it as a holding space while you decide what to place and how to place it on your publication. On your what? Publication. On your publication. So see the screen. We have the navigation page, which is here. So you see, it is here. This is the navigation page. Then the scratch area is what? Is here. Then we have the ruler, we have the margin guides. So we have the boundaries. This is also another boundary. So let me show you over here. So over here, you can see the gray spaces here. The gray spaces, they are the scratch area. So for example, if I want to work with an image, I can go and pick the image and place it there. And place it. So I want to use these images. Okay, I'm just showing you, we will do all this, but I want you to understand what is meant by the scratch area. I have another image. I want to work with these images. So I can pack it at the scratch area. So after inserting my text, typing, after working with the text, then I will go for the image and fix camera. We have the cameras. So I want to fix the camera in there. So I'll pick it from what, the scratch area, and insert it. Very simple. Okay, very, very simple. So that's how we use what, the scratch area. The scratch area. So I'll pick them from the scratch area. If I don't need it and I want to move it, I'll just select it. I'll just select it and move it back to the scratch area. When I need it, I bring it back. So we are saying that if the items are here, when you print, you issue the command for the system to print, for the printer to print the page. This scratch area, the items here will not be printed. It will not be printed. Okay. So let's continue. So we are done with the scratch area. So let's look at page setup. Anytime you want to work with publisher or any application, for example, the office applications, you need to first of all set up your page. So the setup means the kind of paper you want to use, the kind of margin, the kind of orientation, that is whether you want your work to be in the form of what, portrait or landscape. You have to set up the page. You have to set up means you prepare what, the page for use. So if you want to create an invitation card and you go and select the page, in the page setup, you select something like A4. It's big. Maybe you don't need it. So you have to create the margin for what? An invitation card. Then you do it. You work with it. You don't have to just select any page at all. You set up the page depending on what you want to do. For example, if you are to create a flyer, you have to select what? Create the margin to the size of the flyer you want. You cannot create a flyer on a whole A4 sheet. It's too big. Okay? So that's the page setup. So anytime before you start working, it's on the screen. Before you start working on publisher page, you need to set up your page. And in the page setup, you can select the size of the page you want to use. So when you get it, you read it. Then let's look at, let me take you through the page setup quickly for you to look at what we mean by page setup. So with the page setup also, you come to the page design. So when we come to the page design, we have what? A group called what? The page setup. The page what? Setup. So with the page setup, we have what? The margin. So you select the margin you want. You can also customize what? Your margin. You can customize what? The margin, that the left, whatever is happening, you see the preview there. That you want the left to be 2.0 or 2.2 or 2.1, 2.0, 2 is 2.0 inch. Then you want the left, that is the left. Then the right, you want the right to be maybe 0.5. Then you want the top to be 1.7. The bottom two to be 1.7. So you have selected your margin, then you click on OK. You see that it has changed. It has changed. So I have set up my page. So the work I'm going to do will be within this what? Margin. Then we have the orientation. The orientation tool, we have what? Portrait or landscape. So when you are working, you will determine, do you want your work to appear on a landscape or portrait? Then you select. So if you want landscape, you select landscape. So this is a landscape. It means that when you print your work out, it's going to appear on a landscape or form. Then we have the size. That's the setup. So which size of paper do you want to work with? Is it A4? Is it A3? Etc. So you will set the paper size. So if you want to use A5, this is A5. If you want to use A3, this is A3. If you want to use A4, this is A4. So if you create the work on A3 and you are printing on A4, you can tell what will happen. It will, some of the text or images will not appear on the sheet. So it's very important the kind of size you want or you select when working with what publisher. So you have to know the kind of size you want to work with and select the kind of what size. Okay. Then with the layout, we have the margins. We have the margins you can work with. You have the margins you can work with. So if you want to take off the guides, you can take it off. If you want objects layout, so do the same. That's the alignment tool. Then we have creating documents with what? Publisher. Creating documents with publisher. Creating documents. Let's move on and look at creating documents with what? Publisher. We are saying that MS Publisher allows the insertion of what? Pages. So it means you can insert what? Pages in what? Publisher. So when you open Publisher, for example, when you open Word, okay, we are saying that Word is what? Allows you to enter text continuously. So when it ends in page 1, automatically it moves to what? Page 2. You don't have to insert the page. When the page ends, it will move. That is Microsoft Word. But in Publisher, you have to select what? The pages. You have to create or insert what? The pages yourself. So if you want to create a brochure, and you feel like your brochure will take like 5 pages, you have to create what? The pages yourself. So when you create the pages, you treat each page, you create what? Each page, and you treat each page what? Individually. So if you want images to appear on page 1, you do that. If you want page 1 to be your cover, you do that. Then it flows like that. The same way when you are printing, you print what? Page by page. Okay, you print what? Page by page. Unlike Word, when you issue the command, if you have 10 and you don't specify, all the 10 pages will print. But Publisher, you print what? Page by page. So you may want to add additional pages, and then you navigate between what? Pages to edit. Also, you can move pages. You can move the pages. So you can swap the pages. For example, maybe you after working, you realize that you want page 1 to appear, come to page 2, and page 2 to move to page 1. You can do that. You can delete pages. You can create word art, etc. Okay. So let's go into details of this and look at how to create pages. We're also saying that text box. The text box treats everything as what? An object instead of what? A continuous flow of what? Characters. You need to use what? Text boxes to insert any text you want in your document. Okay, so if you have a tool called a text box. So with a text box, it helps you to what? Insert what? Object instead of what? Continuous flow of what? Character. So it means that instead of typing from beginning to the bottom, with the text box, it can limit the boundary or the margin you want to type. Okay, so you don't have to type from top to the bottom. No. Okay, with the text box, it helps you to do what? Insert any text you want in the document. So you can insert the text to the top, to the middle, to the bottom, left, right, etc. by using what? The text box. By using what? The text box. By using the text box. Then we also have the text wrap or the wrap text. One of the really powerful features of Publisher is its ability to wrap text around another hot object. For example, if you have some text in a frame and you wish to place a picture in the middle of it, Publisher allows you to do so. and simply move the text aside to allow spaces for the graphic. So by doing this, we call this one what the wrap text. Wrap text. And this is what we mean by what wrap text. So with the wrap text, you see that you are creating a publication, you are creating a design, and you want the picture to be in middle of the text. Okay, you have a tool called the wrap text, which allows you to do that in Publisher. So the image you see here, you see that the image is in between the text on the left and the right, and the image is what in the middle. So the feature or the tool they use is what the text wrap. The text wrap. You will do the practicals and you see all these things. You do the practicals and you see all these things. And we are saying that working with pictures and then background. But before we move to working with pictures and the background, let's look at how to create documents in Publisher. Okay, using text box, etc. So now on the screen we have the margin. So we have spoke about the page setup already. So with the page setup, you can set what your margin, okay, by clicking on what insert. When you click on insert, then sorry, it's not insert. You click on page design. Sorry, page design. Then it allows you to what prepare your page by using what the page setter. By using what the page setter. So with the page setup, you can set the size, the orientation, etc., which you spoke of already. Then we have the pages. If you have some pages you want to delete, fine. You can also insert pages as we said earlier. Sorry, we said earlier I can do what? You can insert what pages. So let's look at how to insert what pages. The first thing you have to do is you click on the insert tab. Okay, when you click on the insert tab, these are all the items you can insert. All these items you can insert them in what? In Publisher. So I don't care if you use the remaining time to do this, then look at the other one another time. So you can insert table. The first thing is pages. So you can insert what? Pages. You see that the page is increasing. Look at the navigation area. Now we have 3 pages. When you click on the next, it will give you another page, page 4. So in Publisher, we insert what? The pages one after what the other, depending on the work you are doing. So if I want to work on page 1, I select the first page, then work with what? This page. If I want to work with page 5, I select what? Page 5. Publisher will allow me to work with page 5 only. So this is how we insert what? Pages. So for example, I've inserted this page and I've created something here. Okay. Then this is page 2. That's page 5. But I realized that okay, this page 5 is supposed to be, let me edit this thing. Let me edit the text over here. You look at all this, so don't worry. Cover. So I'm just practicing something. I realized that okay, this page 5 is supposed to come to page what? 1. So I'll just click and drag. Then bring this to what? Page 1. So when you go to page 5, that page is what? It's blank. So we said in the presentation that you can move what? Pages. Now I realize that okay, I don't need the page 1 again. You can simply do what? Delete by right-clicking on the page and selecting what? Delete. It's very simple. So it's asking you, do you want to delete anyway? Yes. So you can delete what? The pages. You can delete what? The pages. You can delete what? The pages. Now we have only 1 page left. Good. Now we have tables. You can insert what? Tables, depending on what you want to do. So this is the table I have what inserted. So I can type in what in the table. You can also insert what pictures in publisher. You can insert what pictures in publisher. So if you want to insert pictures, you come to what insert, then illustration. So all these illustrations you can insert them. So I want to insert a picture. So I'll select pictures, then work with it. Good. Then about the text box, we'll come back to pictures and I'll show you a lot on that. With the text box, as me, I want to create invitation card. So I'll select what? The text box. Then I'll click and drag. So I'm creating my own box, my own area where I want to work. So when you come to the bottom here, we have the zoom. You can zoom. So I can start work. With the text box, you can enter, it allows you to enter what? A text. So if you want your text to be on the full page, then you have to create for the full page from top to down. It means that you are going to enter the text from the top to the bottom. You see? Good. So anytime you want, for publisher, anytime you want to enter a text, it's not automatic. You have to select what? The text box to allow you enter what? The text. So for example, invitation. I want to create invitation card. So I highlight it, then I perform the normal formatting, you know, bold, then I can increase the size, I can change the color, I can underline it, etc. Okay, I can underline it, etc. Then I can start writing something like, let me see who is on the line. We have Solomon. So Solomon, when will you do your wedding? The family you want to talk there? The families of
2030.
okay, Solomon
Exactly.
and
What I
Mary invites. I'm just giving an example of you to then you select the date, everything. You see? So that's how we use what the text box. Okay, this is how we use what the text box, and I'll be giving you projects on this. You do it and you send it for me to look at it. So you pay attention to all these things. Okay, so that is the text box. That is the text box. That is how we use for the text box. So anytime you want to enter a text, please select the text box and enter your text. So if with the text box, look at this, I can squeeze the text box at this corner. I can create another text box by going to insert text box and create another text box, do another insertion altogether. So the text box allows you to manage what? Your page. It allows you to manage what? Your page. Okay, so that's the work of what? The text box. That's the work of what? The text box. Then we also have word art. We have what? The word art. So this one is business information. If you want to create a business information, you do that. So under word art, you can create a word art, okay, as a design. So we have different styles, okay. So when you click on the word art, you see this dialog box. You can select the type of font you want. You decide for yourself, okay. Please try to practice for me. Then you type maybe just a kind college of education. Then you bold it. If you want to italize it, you can italize it, or you remove it. I don't want this font, so I can change the font. the font I want. I don't want this one to, so okay, this one is cool. So you click OK. So this is a word art, okay? So we use word art to create what? Different styles in a form of what? Text, okay? When after selecting the word art, you can change the shape of what? The word art. Have you seen it? So when you click on the word art, the format will appear. The contextual tab will appear. Then you can select any other options of your choice. You can choose a color, maroon color. You can fill in with what? Maroon color. Okay, you can enlarge it. Okay,